I'll call this September 10th, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. David, you want to do roll call?
Pete Saunders, Vicky Guszrowski,
Present.
Mark Danielson, Brian Cager,
Here.
Nate Laux.
Here.
Three present.
Approval of minutes from the August 13th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We only have two other major agenda tonight. The first is variance for petition to exceed maximum accessory building area to 1,204 square feet. Would the petitioner like to come forward?
Introduce yourself, name
Yeah,
and address.
my name is
Name and address,
Marian
please.
Barteczko.
Okay.
I'm trying to build a garage over there, and I exceeded the square footage, so that's what I'm here.
Did you already start building the garage?
Well, digging the holes yet, but I'm never.
Okay, you haven't built the structure yet. Okay, great.
Not yet,
Just turn it over to David then. Let David.
because I previously had a garage, but
Uh-huh.
the roof was so caved in, so I, level started all over again, so that's.
For sure. We're going to let David read his staff report on this.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You
this
can
is-
you can do public comment.
Vicky, any other
No,
questions?
I don't have any questions. Huh?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I'll open it up for a public comment, if there's any public comment. Hearing none, I'll close this portion of the public comment. David, do you want to give us staff?
Yeah, so item number 4, variance of development standards 24-08 petition is to exceed the maximum accessory building area. The petitioner is requesting 1,024 square feet. This property is located at 102 Whitehead Road, as you see outlined in red on the map on the overhead there. It is zoned single-family residential. The petitioner is proposing to locate the 32 by 32 garage just south of the house, as you can see, is kind of outlined in black there on this map. Kind of hard to see there. Staff went and took some photos of the property. As you can see, the building behind the house there is not completely finished. It made the petitioner aware that a variance is needed because of the increase in allowable maximum accessory building area from 721 square feet to his proposed of 1,024 square feet. This property did have a detached garage on the property previously. Just a little bit of backstory there. This property is not required to go to site review. Just some of the decision criteria that the board is to take into account with the variance of development standards is: 1, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. This proposed building size is similar to a lot of the existing detached accessory buildings along Whitehead Road. As you see in some of the photos here, further down to the west on Whitehead Road, this was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals and was constructed shortly thereafter that, previously. And then in addition to another property just to the west of 102 Whitehead Road. Similar sizes, kind of the range in size is about 500 to 1,500 square feet on surrounding properties. And 2, that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The construction of the proposed detached accessory building, 1,024 square feet, will not affect the surrounding properties. 3, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The strict application of the zoning ordinance to limit the size of the detached accessory building to 721 square feet on a relatively large lot in the city would be a kind of a practical difficulty on the use of the property for personal storage. Staff finds that the requested variance of development standards petition is in compliance with the 2017 City of LaPorte revised joint zoning ordinance and does conform to the goals and policies of the countywide land development plan. So staff does recommend approval of the petitioner's request to exceed the maximum accessory building area from 721 square feet to 1,024 square feet. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Do we want to make a motion?
Oops. I'll motion to approve the request.
Have you opened the public meeting?
Oh. I'm sorry,
Public meeting?
after David's?
Did you already do it?
Yeah.
You already did it?
Yes,
Mhm.
and closed it.
He did it before he did staff report.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we have a motion?
Yeah, I motion to approve the
Now
request.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Next on the agenda is a petition, well, actually, I'll let the petitioner come forward, if they would, and please.
Good evening. My name is Bill Nelson with the law firm of Brady, Nelson and Janes. And before we present, I think Mr. Cook from LEAP would like to talk a little bit about the project, if that's all right, if we have him go first.
Approved.
I think it might have been awkward if you did not approve that at that point.
I was thinking about it. I was debating it for a second.
Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. Just to give you a little background on this property in Newport Landing, it is owned by the Redevelopment Commission. You likely have seen this come before numerous public boards over the course of the last few months, beginning with the Redevelopment Commission and then City Council as well. We've been working in partnership with Ryan and Ashley Hart and Ben Conowitz on their Family Fun Center project. We're very excited about the project as a whole. We're looking at it as a public-private partnership. And the Redevelopment Commission obviously fully backs this. So I know they are, petitioning for the special exception tonight, fully supportive of that, very much in line with the goals of Newport Landing and our strategy for that entire area. We think it'd be a great addition to not just this property, not just Newport Landing, but the city as a whole. So just want to make sure we communicate our support for the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Again, I'm Bill Nelson. I'm with the law firm of Brady, Nelson and Janes. I've had the good fortune over the last 32 years of coming before this body and other governing bodies of the city of LaPorte, representing developers and clients, bringing exciting projects that improve our community, enhance livability here. And tonight, I'm happy to say that I get to do that again by representing Noah's Arcade tonight. As Bert said, the owners of Noah's Arcade LLC are Ryan and Ashley Hart and Ben Conowitz. I'm sure some of you know of them. I happen to have Ryan here tonight with me on behalf of the petitioning body. The petition was filed as the DBA. Full Tilt, you probably have heard of the Full Tilt Arcade that is already in existence in the community. This is a new project for these guys to launch out into something new and exciting and much bigger that'll offer far more. I do have with me tonight the proof of publication. This petition was published in the Herald Dispatch and the regional news. I also have my affidavit that I have executed proving a notification by certified mail to the property owners. two of which have not yet signed their green cards, but my affidavit is proof that they were served. And I have three green cards from property owners who have signed acknowledging receipt of the notice. If I may approach, I'd like to provide this to council for the BZA. I'm going to try to keep this brief. I don't see that there's a lot of people that appear to be opposed to this. At the same time, I have a burden to prove. And I need to have a fiduciary duty to my client to make sure the record is made that they qualify for this request that is before you tonight. As Mr. Cook said, that property is in Newport Landing. It's off Holocker Drive. You probably all know where it's at. You've been by there 1,000 times like I have. 6.5 acres of a little over a 12-acre parcel. 6.5 will be purchased as part of this project. It's currently zoned B2 General Commercial District. It's currently owned by the Redevelopment Commission. They have signed off on this petition granting us permission to come before you tonight to seek this relief. We have already successfully negotiated a development agreement with the city. That's been approved. We've already successfully negotiated a purchase agreement, and that's been approved. All we need now for the final clearance is tonight, and you guys hopefully will be the ones to put the final rubber stamp on and send this project on its way. My client plans to build a 33,750 square foot family fun center. It will house all of the following: a restaurant and a bar, bowling lanes, laser tag, outdoor 18-hole miniature golf, indoor 9-hole miniature golf, multi-sport simulators, projection darts, I don't know what those are. I'm going to find out what those are. 2-lane Ninja Warrior course, 100-game arcade that'll include 40 pinball machines, and they have a future plan and hope that they can eventually have an outdoor go-kart track in the area. All of those are in the current plans. In our petition, we included all of these. It's my understanding that a determination has been made that the only two that really require the special exception use is the outdoor 18-hole miniature golf and the arcade that will be, and again, this is not a freestanding arcade, an arcade in the building with all the other amenities and activities that are being offered. In 2017, the city of LaPorte approved a revised joint zoning ordinance. Section 7.02 of that revised joint zoning ordinance allows for the the special use exceptions that we're asking for tonight for the arcade, and 14.09 Section D addresses the outdoor miniature golf. Both of those sections permit this body to grant special exception use for those two activities on this site. The other activities that we've identified, those can be done anyway. My client just believes that with the success of the existing arcade and how that has really sparked a lot of entertainment opportunities for a lot of our youth and even a bunch of our adults, they really think having the arcade as part of this project is just going to be a great draw. It's going to provide a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity. They also believe a miniature golf course, an outdoor miniature golf course, will be a great amenity. If you've all been by Zao Island in Valparaiso, it's been there for years. I used to take my wife there when we dated years ago, and the place is always packed. We have no miniature golf around here anymore. This will be a great opportunity for good weather months for folks to be outside, bring their family, church groups, youth groups, scouts, Girl Scouts, things like that have birthday parties for outdoor miniature golf. So let me go through the burden of proof, because we still have to establish that. That's a requirement that I have to prove to you we have met, so that you can take action on this petition tonight and make a decision whether you're in favor of it or not. As far as the area, north of this property is Clear Lake. To the south of this property is industrial buildings. To the east is the Dunes Event Center. And to the west is currently a medical office building. The decision criteria for you tonight, one of which, there's 8 of them. I'm going to go through them quick, but I have to establish these. And what I'm saying, if we were in a court of law and my client, Mr. Hart, was under oath, These are the things he would testify to as evidence before you tonight. That this proposal will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Basically, what we're providing is more amenities and a family-friendly activities to an area that is already growing and growing in recreational environment. Immediately outside of this lot, there's a biking and walking trail that has been recently built with the assistance of the Health Foundation. Across the lake, there's softball fields, there's parks, there's children's playgrounds, there's a baseball field, there's a concert venue, all recreational in nature. Immediately to the east of this property is a center that is the epitome of recreation in LaPorte, the Dunes Volleyball Club that is full of kids playing a recreational sport every single weekend, 52 weeks a year practically. So the area is heavily rich with recreation anyway. This is going to be an opportunity to enhance that. People that are in the area anyway for those activities, they can walk to this place. Think of the people at the Dunes Volleyball Club on a weekend who are traveling from out of town. They're sitting waiting for their kid's next match. They can go right next door. They don't have to drive to another, they can go right next door. They can entertain their younger kids who are probably bored waiting for big sister to play volleyball. They can also have meals, and they can participate in some fun activities. This is actually going to not only not be injurious, this is going to improve the community and that environment. We hear all the time, what is there to do in LaPorte? I mean, that's changed dramatically in the last 4 to 5 years. There's lots to do. There can be one more fun thing to do, one more opportunity. Another burden we have to prove to you tonight is that that this will not be injurious to the surrounding property. It will not damage the immediate vicinity. It will not diminish or impair their property values. On the contrary, we believe this will only enhance. We're talking about over $1 million investment to put this in, quite a bit more than $1 million investment to build all of this. This is going to enhance everything around there. Newport Landing is, obviously it's, slowly filling in, and that's fantastic. The more that goes into the Newport Landing area, particularly amenities that people enjoy, the greater all the values of the properties around there will increase. So we believe that this is not only not a detriment or injurious to the values, it's actually going to increase them. And studies do show that recreational facilities and communities enhance all the property values. The third item is that we can't be a hazard, right? We cannot be a hazard. We cannot have activities or uses or materials or equipment that would be a hazard or a threat or a danger to those in the area. Again, just the opposite is here. There will be no materials. There's no toxic materials. There's no heavy equipment, nothing in this type of a business that would be considered a hazard such that burden couldn't be met. We also have to show that there's adequate public facilities. There's already a roadway. There's already sewer and service provided. The part of the development agreement with the city includes the city building a parking lot, a large parking lot between Dunes and the Family Fun Center, such that both facilities will have more parking now. And so there will be plenty of essential and all the necessary facilities needed that will not cost. In other words, the parking lot is a great use, and it's a great city investment in these projects anyway, because it helps people utilize the facilities. As far as ingress and egress, the developer has an architect, has professional engineers that will work with the city to identify the best places for ingress and egress to minimize any congestion. I don't think it's a really congested area. I suppose you get a bunch of Dunes folks in there on the weekends and volleyball teams and parents, it might get congested. But everything will be done to minimize congestion with good planning through the team that is involved in developing the project. As far as development requirements, there is a Newport Landing South Overlay District that will have to be complied with. My client is committed to complying with that. They will comply with all the development requirements that is part of the standards for requesting this special exception use tonight. All of the plans will be submitted to the professionals in the city. Everything will be approved before ground is broken. And quite frankly, there's already things going on with with IDEM and our development agreement as far as the environmental issues, which of course have always been an issue here. And when those are being checked, those boxes are being checked off now, so that when we're ready to go, those things have already been taken care of. As far as the ordinance intent, we do not believe this is contrary to the general purposes of the ordinance. And you know, I can envision the framers of an ordinance that said we don't want arcades there. And quite frankly, when I envision that, I envision my youth, when there were buildings that had nothing but an arcade in them, and us kids overran them. And we were there, and we were probably loud, we probably left our bikes on the sidewalk. And I can understand why somebody might say, hey, we don't necessarily want an arcade in a business district because we don't want a bunch of kids that might be interfering with business going on. Again, we're talking about an arcade within a large complex housed within. I don't think that the framers would have been concerned about this type of arcade, and therefore I do not believe that in any fashion this is contrary to the intent of the ordinance that would have said we don't want an arcade in a business district. In fact, there's so much commercial retail. There are restaurants in the area immediately south. As I've already talked about all the entertainment and recreation that is in walking distance of this facility. All of these are common uses with which my client will be very consistent, will fit in, and will be a great neighbor, and I think it'll be symbiotic. They're all going to do well together. Number 7, I've only got 2 more. Number 7, the county also has various requirements with regards to county land development. This is not at all inconsistent with county land development. In fact, the intent of government is when it can to eliminate unintended regulatory impediments, to eliminate barriers to development, to eliminate those things that are on the books that as a general umbrella make sense, but when you drill down on specific matters, specific developers, specific projects, that you say, okay, that overall intent would be too restrictive. It would prevent orderly development. It would prevent consistent project development within a common area. And we believe here that you have an opportunity as a governing body to eliminate an impediment that would otherwise prevent the full development of this project for the benefit of the community. So we will be asking for that tonight. Finally, as far as use regulations, Section 14.09 requires that any commercial outdoor facilities, including putt-putt golf, like what we're asking for, meet various requirements within the zoning ordinance. There's actually 5 of them. Minimum setbacks, parking areas that need to be screened, landscape, green belts, contained transmission of broadcasting of voices or music within ordinance requirements, to the extent that I don't even know that there's going to be music or broadcasting outside, but to the extent there's background music playing out by the putt-putt golf, any ordinances will be complied with. There has to be a buffer provided between the operations, building, and structures. And last but not least, you simply have to comply with all standards of the county or the city, whichever is most restrictive. Those are the 8 requirements that we are required to present to you tonight in such fashion that we meet a burden that allows you to determine that we've met the criteria for you to take action. It doesn't require you to approve it, but it's the requirements for us to even ask you to take action tonight. Again, if Ryan were to testify as to the things I've said, what they're willing to comply with, they're professionals, they're experts, the fact that we've already got an approved development agreement, we've already got an approved purchase agreement, the consistency of their plans and their activities in the project that will be symbiotic within that community that's already retail, commercial, and highly recreational. These are the things he would testify to, and that would be the evidence before you. Based upon that, tonight, we respectfully stand before you, asking you to grant approval of this petition, so that this another great development can happen here in our city. So thank you for your time tonight. If you have any questions for me, I'll take them. If you have any project or, detail-oriented questions regarding the activities, Ryan's here to answer those.
Thank you.
One question I have just real quick as far as, I'm assuming the putt-putt golf area will go along the back north side. So I'm assuming, hoping there will be fencing between that area and the road and then the lake, and will you have that area fenced off?
Yeah, it will go along the north side of that, by the lake area.
Okay.
Along the track.
Okay.
I have questions for David, actually. Hi, David. I'm looking here at this special exemption, and I might not be reading it right. There's two of those many things that we're asking for an exemption for, right? Because the current zoning law, for instance, the current zoning law already allows for a laser tag course. It already allows for indoor putt-putt. It already allows for the restaurant and bar, two-lane Ninja Warrior course, the pinball machines, and the go-karts. It does not allow for the, it allows for the bowling alley. It does not allow for the arcade and the 18-hole outdoor. Is that what, right?
Yeah, correct. So as Attorney Nelson pointed out, Section 7.02 allows for amusement/arcade establishments and putt-putt golf with the approval of a special exception use, which is what they're applying for
Okay.
those two.
All right.
Mr. Laux, the original ordinance does not permit them, but 7.02 specifically says if a special exception use is granted, then they're allowed. So there's actually kind of an on-ramp to you to take action to approve it. It's not something we're suggesting that is even outside the realm.
Yeah,
It was
it-
already contemplated as an exception.
Yeah,
It has
thank
to be
you, thank you
resolved.
for that. No, my issue is more, we allow all these other things, right? And it makes sense to allow these things, and it seems odd that we don't allow those two things when you can build the whole facility except those one or two things and not need a special exemption. So, that's not to say anything about the exemption itself. It just seems silly that that's where the laws are. I would recommend those be changed.
And the most interesting thing is, if we were just doing go-karts, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah,
And yet
that's
go-karts
what I'm
are
saying.
gonna-
That's what
go-karts are
I
gonna make a
don't
lot more
understand.
noise.
You can do go-karts, but you can't do arcade. That's,
Probably, maybe the framers just realized how fun go-karts are.
yeah, I'm not denying that. It just seems like there's an inconsistency with what is and is not allowed,
Yeah.
so.
Welcome to the world of codified law and regulation.
Yeah, you have to, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this moment, this time, I'll open it up for a public comment. Bert, anything else to add?
I think you've probably heard enough from me tonight.
I agree.
So at this time, nothing else? No. At this time, I'll close public comment. David, the kind attorney pretty much already summarized everything you need to cover, but do you?
Yeah,
need to-
I mean, I can touch on the basics. Just the fact, I just wanted to reiterate the statement of compliance for the special exception use petition, and just kind of go through the uses in general, just so everybody's aware that a lot of the comments in the staff report have been read through by Attorney Nelson, or touched on in that instance, so I won't go through those for that matter. Section 7.2 does allow for amusement, arcade establishments, and putt-putt golf with the approval of a special exception use in the B2 General Commercial District when all applicable standards and cited in Article 24 special exception review requirements and procedures are met within the 2017 City of LaPorte revised joint zoning ordinance, as was instanced with the 8 criteria, and is also noted in the staff report, which is available within the minutes as well as online for review. The amusement and arcade establishment includes laser tag, indoor mini golf course, multi-sport simulators, projection darts, obstacle course, arcade, pinball, and go-karts in the attached list of uses for special exception approval by the City of LaPorte Board of Zoning Appeals. Section 14.09D sets forth additional use requirements for the construction of buildings and the operation of the outdoor putt-putt golf facility. Section 7.02 allows for the restaurant, bar, and bowling alley as permitted uses within the B2 General Commercial District. And last, Section 18.01 sets forth minimum parking requirements for the proposed Family Fun Center, and it is estimated that approximately 150 parking spaces will be utilized for the mix of planned activities, kind of a preliminary thing. In addition, the subject property is located within the Newport Landing South Overlay District, which sets additional design and development requirements above the zoning ordinance for the design of the building and the site and the landscaping and all of that within it. Site review is not required at this time because of the preliminary nature of the request. So staff does, with the findings, finds that the approval of the special exception use petition to build and operate a 33,750 square foot family fun center and conduct all planned activities and attractions as listed in the attached list of uses is consistent with the countywide land development plan and the general character of the surrounding properties within the Newport Landing South redevelopment area. So staff recommends approval of special exception use petition 24-01. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Any other questions? Would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the special exemption.
I'll go ahead and second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Item 6 on the agenda, old business. 7 is new business. 8 is other business. Public comments on non-agenda items. Hearing none, I'll close that as well. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that with a comment to say, good job, Brian.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.